and it's wonderful that you and Vicky have assembled such an amazing group of people and the audience that's joined us tonight. And Lorraine, wonderful job. You said something that's really immediately stuck with me, which is be the type of person you want to meet. I really love that, and I will take that with me. So my why is around sustainability and climate change. And when Philip and Vicky asked me to speak on hope, inspiration, and transformation, I started thinking about 4 things that I'd like to share with you. So the first one is about listening to leaders with values. The second is answering the call once you hear it. The third is finding your voice. And the fourth is learning how to be of service to others. So as Philip said, we grew up in South Africa. There are several other people tonight that also hail from there. And I was very aware at a young age that I was hugely fortunate. I was very privileged. I had a wonderful life, wonderful family. Parents took really amazing care of me, and I didn't want for anything. But I also realized that I was surrounded by millions of people. I mean, the majority of the people had very little, and they were also of a different color to me and my friends and our wonderful, comfortable life. And included in not having very much at all was they didn't have the vote, which was obviously a key thing. And the apartheid South African government that we grew up with, it was quite foreign to a lot of us. It spoke in a different language. It was people that we wouldn't normally have sort of come across, either them or their families, and they ruled in a way that was, let's say fascist, where you had to just say yes, or you were in trouble. And that included, if you were white and privileged, for example, the whole conscription, going to the army for 2 years in our case. And luckily I was supported by my parents, but I refused to do that. There was nowhere on earth I was going to go to the army of a fascist apartheid government in South Africa as a young chap. So luckily, again, being privileged, I was able to get out of the country, and we moved to live in England. Now, in England, trying to sort of, as Philip was saying, in terms of the British School of Etiquette, is trying to understand, when in Rome, when in England, how to sort of fit in and understand the culture. It became a challenge of assimilation. Now, at this time, I was looking for my let's call it a true north, my sort of, my passion. What was my role in life? And I was uncomfortable being a white South African. I didn't like that identity, and it filled me with conflict. It made me lose my self-confidence, the realization, all the horrors that had been going on in South Africa as I started to read books that had been unbanned. And I studied political science in America at a American university. And again, that led me to really delve into the horrors of the world that I came from, a lot of which I was unfamiliar with. And I decided I needed to really understand that and get into the depths of that evil. And then work out, what was I going to do, and how was I going to come to terms with who I was in the world. And finishing my political science degree, I decided to go back to South Africa and get involved in the South African elections, worked for the Independent Electoral Commission, and the 94 elections was when Nelson Mandela became our president, and I was very much part of organizing those elections. Now, I had seen Nelson Mandela face to face, being 10 feet away from him, once in my life at that point in 1990 on the steps of Parliament Square in Cape Town, when he spoke to us as a free man for the first time after 27 years in jail. I'd waited all day, and I was there listening to him. And what I'm getting across now is about finding and listening to leaders with values that can be a source of inspiration. So he became that for me, number one. Fast forwarding, the second person who became one of those was Mother Teresa, who I'd always heard about. Again, I wanted to meet her. So I traveled across Asia with a backpack for 6 months, and I got a role working at Premdan, which is one of her homes in Calcutta. And every single day, only for a month, not a long time, but every single day for a month, I would see her there in mass at 5 a.m. I would get to talk to her occasionally, and then I'd go and work in the home for the sick and the destitute. And that, again, that experience of being in proximity to her and learning from her and her sisters gave me great inspiration. But at the same time, I was still looking for, so what am I all about? And I was actually quite concerned that I wasn't able to do what Mother Teresa and her sisters were doing. I just felt that wasn't my calling, and I actually wasn't up to that task of that commitment to those people in Calcutta. I just thought, okay, this is amazing, but I've still got to search for my passion. So the third person was Al Gore, who I had actually briefly met at Nelson Mandela's inauguration in Pretoria when I was in charge of the American delegation who came to Mandela's inauguration. But I hadn't really spoken to him, but I knew that he was a big environmentalist. And being vice president, he was making a huge difference on environmental issues in America. So I sort of sought him out, and I became the first non-American to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and do his training course, which was a week spent with him, along with 149 Americans in a room for a week, all day, and then out with Al and his wife Tipper at the time in the evenings to different, rhythm and blues and country music bars. So he became a main inspiration. And the fourth person is Jonathan Porritz, who has become my mentor over 20 years. I asked him in 1997 when I had decided that my true north was sustainability and climate change, if he would be my mentor, and he has been an amazing mentor. So just moving on to then sort of what I've been doing is I'm the founder of Sustainable Future for All. We've worked in my career, I've worked with all sorts of companies on the sustainability journey, all sorts of clients as well, and individuals. And the thing that I'm most focused on at the moment is working with the UN as a client on COP26, which the British government is hosting in Glasgow next year. And it's all about climate action in a profound and meaningful way. And some of you might have seen last night the TED Talks. It was called TED Countdown, had amazing people like Christiana Figueres from Costa Rica, Prince William, and others last night talking to us. And I was involved in helping bring that together. I think my time is up, so I'm going to bring it to an end by saying, what would I like to just quickly pass on is to young people, a few things. Don't be in a hurry. Look for your North Star, as I said, your true north. And if you want to look into that a bit more, look up Polaris, which I love the whole Polaris concept. Create and catch the big moments in life. Don't miss them if you can. And then use them as a source of energy to sustain you, especially in the bleak times. And finally, follow your passion and believe that you can do anything. Thank you.